Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode, live broadcast of New Earth Teachings Live. Very happy to be with you all here. So before we get started with New Earth Teachings Live today, we're just going to go through a few announcements. So here's number one.
Awoken TV will be launching worldwide on March 31st. Watch Awoken TV online or download our free app. But that's not all. Coming in March, you can join in on the excitement as we present the Awoken TV pre-launch website. Access a pre-launch collection of our original Awoken TV episodes for free as we count down to our launch on March 31st. Truth seekers, spiritual journeyers, and the open-minded, get ready to experience unity in the community as we share spiritual education and entertainment to the masses. Follow us online at facebook.com/awokentv.
Okay, so our Awoken TV pre-launch website is now online. It's now available. So all you do is just go to www.awoken.tv. That's www.awoken.tv. And you'll see the pre-launch website. And there are 6 free sample episodes that you'll be able to see on that page. So there are original series that I have 2 of those original series. One of them is available on the Awoken TV pre-launch website. It is the Messages from Seth, so the very first episode. And of course, we also have a presentation that's also available, and we also have the debut episode of Awoken TV Interviews, where I was interviewing John Mendez. So that is a very, very exciting interview if you guys want to check that out. And of course, we have our teachers that are sharing some of their sample episodes as well, too, from Laura Carrillo, who is also known as the Feng Shui Lady. We have Daniel James, who's worked with me on the Inbound as well, too. He's also helped out with some events in the past with me also. And he's sharing what's known as Stories from Orion, as he's doing channeling with the civilization known as the Za, and his contact known as Hermes. And then, of course, we have Susie Beeler, who has also worked with me in the past with channeling workshops and such. And she is creating a show called Messages from the Blue Dragons. And she's also creating a second one as well, too. So that one will be available on March 31st. So there's a lot more that's in store when March 31st rolls around, but we're just giving you guys a sneak peek, a free collection of videos that you guys can check out. And then when you go to the website, at the very bottom of the page, you'll just see a subscribe button there, and just insert your email, and then we'll keep you guys updated once the Awoken TV official website on March 31st rolls out. So that is just an option for you guys to subscribe, and you can be kept in the loop when we go live on March 31st. So I'm really excited. We're getting closer to the date, and we got some really exciting content coming. And of course, once we get the platform up and you guys see it, we're definitely going to be attracting a lot more teachers. So we're looking for a lot. Right now we have about just under a dozen teachers right now that's creating content for Awoken TV, including yours truly. And of course, we are going to be looking to get more teachers after March 31st. So moving on now to our second announcement.
Alien visitors are real. They are really visiting Earth. They are really visiting human beings. And there are good ones and there are bad ones.
Your own sun is calibrating constantly for a set of instructions that interact and transmute together with your DNA. Okay, so again, the Empower Light Expo is happening at the end of April, between April 26th and April 28th. So I will be there, John D'Souza will be there, John Mendez, who I did the interview with, will also be there. He'll have a vending table there showing his incredible holotech technology, and it's a really, really amazing technology, so I highly recommend you guys check it out. For those of you who are going to be at the expo, of course, there's also going to be live streaming capabilities, so if you guys aren't able to meet the expo in person, then you can check out the live streaming, because the Adronis event will be live streamed. John D'Souza's event will be live streamed. My other event, Cellular Body Regeneration, will also be live streamed as well too, so you guys can check that out. So really exciting time coming the end of April. And our last announcement is, of course, Cosmic Tour to South Africa with Michael Tallinger and myself. Now we're actually getting a few more people that have actually booked up, and they're early birds, so it's good to see that. But we still have quite a few spots left over. So if you guys want to, again, go to wonderworld.vacation. Okay, that's wonderworld.vacations. And you can sign up there. And again, we're going to be exploring sacred sites, both Michael Tallinger and myself. Michael's going to be giving his sharings, or his discourse, relating to many of these sites, very informative information. And then Adronis is going to come through and give additional insight, cosmic perspective, on a lot of these sites as well too. So I'm really excited to be a part of this tour, as I've talked about before, week after week. I'm really looking forward to this tour rolling out. Again, we're getting some people signing up for the tour. So like I just said, get it while it's hot. Right? Come join us on the Cosmic Tour to South Africa. It is a once-in-a-lifetime adventure, and we're going to have an amazing time. I'm also going to be in Cape Town, South Africa, doing private sessions and remote healing sessions as well too with people. This again is one of the new features that I have up on Awoken TV, newearthteachings.com. So again, Cosmic Tour to South Africa happening between September 19th to October 2nd, 2019. You just go to wonderworld.vacations and you can check it out more. Okay. All right. So yes, as I was saying, is that there's 2 new sessions. I guess you could say 1.5 new sessions. One of the new sessions on newearthteachings.com is the full body light code activation. And what this is going to pure spirit, bringing in light codes and putting it upon a light circuitry anchor. So it's like an advanced stage of light circuitry in that way. And you receive this light circuitry anchor, and it helps with everything. It helps with physical ailment, it helps with emotional imbalancing, it helps with mental imbalancing, helps to bring vitality back into yourself. It completely helps to dissolve away any particular harsh radiation or harsh EMF within your space as well too. There's all kinds of things that it does, and it's really amazing. It also helps you with dream recall, helps you with memory increase, etc. I've been working with these light codes, and there's been so many benefits coming out. I can't even explain it because I've just been bringing in a lot of them. But that's something you guys can check out. You just go to newearthteachings.com, and you'll find that their full body light code activation, that's there now. And like I said, it's an anchor. You only need to pay a one-time fee. After that, every year you get it updated for free. So you just send me your order receipt. Say, okay, Brad, 1 year has passed. Can I get the updates to this anchor? Sure, no problem. Bam, done. The other year comes, hey, Brad, another update? Sure, bam, no problem. So you get updates for life. So for as long as New Earth Teachings is around, I could say, for as long as I'm around too. And so that is available on the website. So it's a one-time purchase, and after that you get free updates every year. The second thing is remote healing sessions, and of course this is also working with light code activation as well too. So when you book a 15-minute session or a 30-minute session with Adronis or myself, again, Adronis can be requested. You can also look into remote healing as well too. So we basically look into any particular type of ailment that you may have. Again, anything happening emotionally, anything happening in regards to belief systems, mentality. You want to increase vitality. You want to bring them in. All of these things, we're all getting it from spirit. I'm just being a funnel that's bringing in all of these energies directly from your spirit, and it's coming directly into you through these remote healing sessions, and they're extremely powerful. I've just done a couple of them already. And it's mind-blowing to see how quickly these things come together. This is definitely the most powerful healing technique. And I've said that a couple times because light circuitry attunements is really powerful. EQ method is really, really powerful. full body light code activation, remote healing through these light codes is the most powerful because it's coming directly from source, coming directly from spirit, and it's working together with you. So you guys can check that out. That again is available on newearthteachings.com. So getting you guys excited about that. All right, so why don't we go ahead and dive in to today's broadcast. Again, thank you everybody for joining me here on the live chat. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to kind of scroll up here just at the top, and we're going to kind of go down and see if anybody just has any questions. It's a full Q&A broadcast today. So if you guys do have any questions for myself, or if you want to request Adronis as well too, as I said, he's requestable, and you guys can bring him in. We can bring him in as well too to answer some questions as well. Okay, we got one here from Carrie Lou. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Carrie. Sorry if I'm not. Will there be a mutual sharing between inner Earth and surface Earth humans and beings at any point? The answer I'm getting is yes, but there needs to be a lot of clearing of the path. There needs to be a lot of clarity that comes together. Now, some of these inner Earth beings, in that sense, will be introduced, but they're not always going to be introduced through the traditional or conventional way, right? It's not about holding a press conference and saying, "Hey, humans, we're from the inner Earth." It's not going to be really like that. It's going to be much more organic, right? So don't expect to encounter it through mainstream media. They're going to be contacting groups on their own. So they'll be contacting people, and there will be some particular type of message or instructions if people are, again, chosen by certain inner Earth groups. Sometimes you'll be taken into the inner Earth astrally, like I was when I was seeing the Delphi. And then there may be a discourse that may take place. Some of them, again, may have physical visitations with the people that they also wish to choose that will come in and take a look and explore some of these inner Earth domains, so to speak. So I don't know exactly when, on a date that this is going to happen. This could be happening right now. There could be people from over the world that are being chosen selectively, connecting with inner Earth civilizations and are taken there astrally, and then afterwards may just have a physical visit to go to inner Earth. So they may actually just come into your room and say, "Hey, we're here," right? Pick you up and then take you to inner Earth. I don't know. That could be their possibility. All I'm really receiving is that this will happen in time. This will be a lot more stronger as a lot of the gunk, as a lot of the debris that we're working with right now relating to the old regime, relating to quote-unquote the deep state, as a lot of this is out of the way, then there'll be a lot more opportunities for something like this to happen. Really, the feeling is that as we start to move into the early 2020s, this is what's really going to change everything around. So we move further into 2019, move more into 2020. We still got a lot of cleanup to do. When we start to go into 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, those are the prime dates, like the peak, the benchmark dates, where a lot of amazing things are going to start to happen. So this could be the idea of extraterrestrial contact, or again, familiarity with different ET civilizations. There may also be a greater increase in regards to contacts for people. Again, either through getting it through telepathy, empathic ability, or again, in-person visits. But as we move into the next decade, that will be the pick-me-up time. This will also relate to, financial abundance, possibly even being able to roll out a lot more of the alternative systems to finances as well too. New educational systems, new technologies coming out that could relate to zero-point energy or other particular form of free energy devices that may start to roll out. But the early 2020s, we're going to see a lot more of that unfold. There'll still be a lot of cleaning up behind the scenes, again, well up into about 2024. But we're also going to see a lot more of those benchmark times with these new rollouts and new possibilities of contact through inner Earth beings, extraterrestrials, and a lot more. All right, so thank you, Carrie, for your question. Brooke says, "Hi, Brad. Greetings from Cottonwood, Arizona." Thank you, Brooke. Nice to see you here. Hi from Vienna. Welcome. Blessings. Okay. So I'm just going to see if I can just take one question per each person right now, because I know there's going to be some multiple questions here from the same person. Okay, here's an interesting one here from Mateo. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Mateo. Can you talk about how to increase creativity? Well, yes, absolutely. When you are working with creativity, you're working with the greatest states of excitement, the greatest states of joy. You want to get excited about something, right? If there's something that you're doing that's very mediocre, that's just not really capturing your interest at all, you're not really going to put a lot of your creative power into it. This is where you want to channel the inner child. This is where you want to go back into your younger years, where you felt excited, where you felt like as soon as you just went outside, the whole planet is yours, and you were playing and you were enjoying this. You want to go back into that inner child relationship with yourself and get into that state of excitement, right? Get passionate, right? It's kind of like what Adronis, what Bashar, what many others have stated about following your passion, right? Following your joy. To the greatest of your ability possible. And as you start to do that, you start to just harness all of this pure creative energy because you can't wait to get started. It's like you're just sitting at a table and there's like this, beautiful dish of food and you can't wait to dig in, right? That's powerful. That's passionate. Oh my God, I can't wait to try this. Well, that's it. You want to have that same feeling. You want to be passionate. You want to be excited. You want to feel the joy flow through you. And again, with a lot of people that want to really harness their creative energy, first thing you may also want to look at is something that you know you're battling against, right? And you say, oh, I don't feel like doing anything passionate today. I don't feel like doing anything exciting today. I don't want to bring out my joy, right? So we want to look into what's actually causing you to prevent you from going to that area. So you want to look into that area that you feel is causing you a lot of pain, a lot of anguish, a lot of suffering. And as I stated, it all goes back into the three traumas. It goes back to abandonment, rejection, abuse, right? Those are the three categories. And those three link back into the one. And that one represents lack, okay? So lack is therefore creating these three particular principal categories of trauma: abandonment, rejection, abuse, which means any particular form of heavy emotion that we're feeling links back to one of those three traumas, or all three. And again, that links back to the ultimate aspect of lack, right? So wherever we have lack within our life, we want to acknowledge it. Now, this is also something important that I want to share with all of you as well, too, is many of us are very obsessed with the idea of knowledge, right? We feel that we need to learn, that we need to be taught, that we need to have a lot of knowledge in our lives. And to a degree, that's true. We basically have knowledge up until a certain point. You only need to acquire knowledge until you hit realization, until you hit acknowledgement. Once you hit realization, once acknowledgement is there, you don't need more knowledge. Knowledge becomes useless. So you're only acquiring knowledge through yourself, through your own truth, through the extensions of what your reality is telling you, until realization hits you. Once realization is there, you don't need more knowledge, right? It's useless. Now what you're doing is through realization, you are applying, you're taking action upon that. So if you realize exactly why you're so upset, you don't need to keep researching, you don't need to keep knowing, you don't need to keep learning, you don't need to keep being taught about why you're upset and why you're upset and why you're upset, because your words aren't going to help you. You need to look into the feeling. You need to look into the emotion. You need to look into the trauma. You need to look into the lack. And what you're doing is you are counterbalancing that effect. You're turning that lack into love. And so now you're bringing action by encouraging positive reinforcement into your life. Now you're feeling stronger. Now you're waking up every morning. You're seeing simple acts of kindness to yourself. You're doing simple things that represent joy. You're looking at the mirror and you're saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. Right? And even though this is a very simple exercise, but I'm still very, very amazed about how people say, Brad, I can't do that. No, I can't look at a mirror. It's not possible for me to say, I love you. Why? Why not? Because you're looking at a face, right? Because you're looking at the eyes. That's not what you're looking into when you're looking into a mirror. You're looking at the windows through the soul, windows of the soul that are bringing you into your essence, that are talking to your spirit. And you are telling that from a spirit level, I love you. And that is powerful. That's one of the first things I was doing when I was waking up, because I was getting knowledge, right, about you have to bring as much love into yourself on a daily basis. Okay, I'm going to try that. And I would just look at the mirror and I go, okay, all right, I'm going to try and do this. And it took me a few times before I could finally look in the mirror and say, Brad, I love you. Thank you so much for sharing this life, for being here, for being this body, for being this energy, for being this consciousness and helping me to explore my own divinity through everything that I experience. I love you. I thank you for this. Okay? That took me a few tries to do that. So, it's not that too alarming, but this is what you want to get into every single morning you wake up, right? Until it just becomes so natural to you to bring this love into yourself. You need to face yourself, right? And when you do that, that starts to harness this creative energy, because now you're on your side. Now you're your own best friend. Now you're your own best partner. You're everything, right? You are completely unified. As you do that, now you start walking a beautiful line. You start walking a beautiful path. And now you start becoming passionate. Now you start becoming enjoyable, because these aspects of lack aren't weighing you down like 500-pound weights. So that's important. You want to make sure that you're bringing lots of love energy to counteract all the lack within your life. Give them love blasts, right? Just see like powerful white light filled with love. Here's the lack right in front of your face. Bam! Love blast, right? And it's just like seeing disintegration happen, right? Just seeing like these dark ashes falling to the ground. Now that essence that was in that dark shell is now returning to the light. So we're just, zapping away that dark shell that doesn't need to be there, because now that essence that was trapped inside that dark shell has returned to the light, and that's what you're capturing. You're capturing the essence out of the shells of darkness, out of the shadow shells, and you're bringing it into your light, and now that's intensifying, increasing, expanding your love energy. Okay? So that's your path to working very strongly with creative energy. Okay? Thank you, Mateo, for a great question. Okay, and it kind of segues down here to Punk Tesh. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Question: how to deal with boredom? The exact same thing. Okay, it all segues together. Why are you bored? You are bored because you keep looking and facing at the same thing every single day. It's like being inside a box, right? It's like me just having this little box right here. And I can open it up. Oh, this is my Ely box, by the way. And I can open it up, and it looks like there's some space inside. But I look at that day after day after day after day, and now I'm bored out of my mind, because these are the boundaries that I have not chosen to expand. So I'm confined inside this box. I'm inside this box. I'm confined in it. I can't do anything. Of course, I'm going to be bored out of my mind. I haven't given myself permission to expand my horizons. I haven't given myself permission to expand my life theme. I haven't given myself permission to step outside of this box to know that there's a heck of a lot more that awaits me. That's why you're bored. You have given yourself no permission whatsoever to change your venue, to change your arena, to expand your palette, to look into new things, to develop yourself, to look at a world rather than being inside a tiny little box. That's how boredom is caused. It's because you don't feel that you're worthy. You don't feel that you have any worthiness or acceptance of yourself to actually step outside that box and say, oh my God, here's a whole huge world right here. I'm going to explore it. I'm going to look into new things. I'm going to find out what my calling is telling me. What am I being summoned to? And I'm going to explore that, right? That's what makes all the difference. That's the creative energy coming together. Well, Brad, I don't feel like that. I feel like I'm bored. Well, I'm telling you the exact same thing as I just mentioned with Mateo's question, right? To harness creative energy, what do? Positive reinforcement, right? We start to work together with that. We look, we acknowledge, we realize what we need to work with as it relates to lack, and now we build our love energy up. You have to want that, right? If you don't want to feel love and you're just going to stay in that box and you're going to continue to create as much lack until it breaks you down, until you're broken down and you build yourself from the bottom up. And now you're able to explore love. Now you're able to go there because you finally crack. And that's what's going to happen. Because it's going to give you more lack and more boredom and more apathy until you finally say, that's enough. And now I'm stepping out It's going to happen. I don't care how resilient you may think you are with boredom or with lack, it's going to click because it is everything that you're not. It is the unnaturalness of yourself, and that can only hold out for so long. So whether you believe it or not, your boredom's going to crack, and you're going to step outside, and you're going to see a lot more of the world. Okay? That's the answer to your question. Good evening from Ghana. Hello, Tiffany. Welcome. Hello, Mexico. Oh, yes. Hello, hello, Brad from Tijuana, Mexico. Hello, Renee. Thank you. All right. So I'm just going to scroll down here a little bit more. Again, I'm just not looking to get repeat questions here. I'm just slowly scrolling down here. Oops, it beamed me down to the bottom here. Okay. All right. Carrie just says, yeah, full body light code anchor is awesome. It works amazingly well. Great. I've had a few people who have already started to work with it, and they've been blown away by it. They've actually been able to completely resolve and heal ailments that they've had for many years just by working with that light code, that anchor, within about 24 to 48 hours. So it blows me away as well, too. I'm using it myself, and to say it's amazing is an understatement. Okay, I just got a lot of people greeting me, so thank you, guys. Hey, greetings to you all. Thank you so much. Lisa asks, how can a light worker use their I am presence to ask for the event to happen? Well, again, you have to understand what the event is. You're going through the event right now. As Adronis has talked about, the event is a culmination of smaller events all together that will reach a particular culmination that will lead us eventually into fourth density. Right now, we're in the membrane, right? Now, here's the thing. Depending upon one certain vibration, they are able to experience a very high subdensity of third that is just on the cusp of moving you over to the fourth, okay? So what this means is that make yourself as light as possible. Bring yourself into the heightening state of vibration as possible. Well, Brad, how do I do that? Work with spirit. Work with your spirit, connect with it, and you want to find out again what is weighing you down. You see, here's the thing. It's not about you guys feeling that you have some particular form of lack of ability within yourself. When you look at lack of ability, what's the problem there? It's the lack, because that's what you have identified. You have to be very, very careful with how you completely use your words in life. When you say a sentence, even though you may think it's very, very simple, it's a spell. You're putting spells on yourself, you're putting spells on others, you're putting spells on everything in your reality by using your words. Words are spells. And so when you are utilizing your spells completely out of service to yourself, then you are confining yourself in more of these borders, barriers, these prison walls. And these prison walls are coming together because of what you have identified yourself as. I feel no good. I'm worthless. I can't do this. I'm not getting fast enough to the ascension. I guess I'm going to be left behind. Bam, instant spell. And now you just put all these borders, these barriers, these prison walls all around you because of the sentence that you just said. Well, Brad, how do I do that? Well, start to bring positive reinforcement to counteract that energy. I am boundless. I am working with spirit. I am the child of God. I can connect in the boundless energies of essence and the ethers to completely experience anything I wish. I am beyond powerful. And I can experience, I can attract, I can become anything that I choose. Powerful. Bam. Wall's gone. You have to be so careful with this. And I've been telling people like this in sessions because they start off, oh, Brad, I'm just feeling like I'm completely incapable of doing nothing and I'm worthless. And I just said, stop. What you're doing is you're casting these spells upon yourself. And you are giving yourself absolutely no levity, no gravity of opportunity to expand yourself, because as soon as you get the chance to talk to yourself, you're kicking yourself in the mud. You're putting all these spells upon yourself and feeling that you are just needing to be huddled in the corner and no one deserves to look at you. You can't even look at yourself. And that's what you're immediately putting into yourself. You're just kicking yourself in the dirt and you're just saying, I'm worthless, I can't do this, I can't do that, and there's no way I can ever be a person that will empower their own reality that they prefer. And it's all of this sabotage. And I hear this over and over and over again with so many people. Brad, this is what I'm lacking. Brad, this is what I'm having a problem with. Brad, this is what I'm having trouble with. And it's the same thing all the time. It's constant spells. And I'm just saying, okay, guys, you're making yourself so tight here, right? You're just, putting yourself in a wedge of a wall. And you're just saying, yeah, I feel like I'm so tight. I feel like I'm lacking. I don't know what I can do. Right? That's what you're doing. You're controlling the walls to do that, right? You're controlling the walls to squish you to the point where you don't feel abundant in any particular way, financially, personally, through family, through relationship, through anything like that. You're putting these hexes upon yourself, and you're being squished into yourself like a vice. You need to, roll that out and expand. And the only way you're going to get past that state of lack is to counteract with positive reinforcement. There is no other way. If you try to battle fire with fire, you will get burned every single time. If you try to think that somebody outside of you is going to save you, you will get burned every single time. You have to get into your power state. You have to get into your manifestation capabilities. And when you start to lighten the load and you start to completely dissolve those feelings of hatred, of feeling upset, of lack, in all those particular ways, abandonment, rejection, abuse, now you're feeling lighter, right? This is where all of your abilities come online because you're working with Spirit. Spirit's now working alongside you. He's going to help you out. She's going to help you out. It's going to help you out. And you're going to get all of these codes, and now you're just going to start expanding yourself. You're going to start feeling like you're lighter than air. You're going to start vibrating faster. You're going to start vibrating stronger. You're going to start radiating a lot more. And now you're moving up that sub-density ladder. And now you're going up into the higher echelons of third density. And you're just like right at the doorway, right? At the membrane, waiting for fourth density, for those doors to collectively open. And when that door collectively opens, you can go through. Now, again, it's as Seth has said, is that every particular form of dimension is available to you here and now. And it certainly is. You can certainly go into that power as well, too. You can basically expand consciousness beyond the body and connecting to any particular plane of dimension that you wish. That's possible as well, too. As we're moving up the physical anchor, the body itself is being transformed. It's being transmuted. So that's how we can move ourselves further up into a state of subdensity, relating to third to fourth, as we're playing in the membrane here and now. Okay? So again, with the event, as I've talked about, guys, in yesterday's video, and of course the other day, with the Earth Intelligence Report, there is no coronal, solar flash, blast, sneeze, anything of that nature. Like I said, I was buying into that for quite a while, right? I've seen some people, and I don't want to mention names, but again, people that are just completely, convinced that that's what's going to happen to our planet. And it's no more different than the Nibiru stuff. It's no more different than a giant asteroid hitting Earth. And, oh my God, Brad, Nibiru. Oh my God, Brad, asteroid. Oh my God, Brad, we don't need to worry about it because we're on a flat Earth anyways. Oh my God, Brad, big gigantic solar sneeze. All distortions. All of it. And so you really look into this a lot more. But like I said, this is just my perspective, right? You guys can look into this yourself, and you have to make up your own minds about this. But through what I've received, this is not happening, right? It very much is a cooperative stream towards a culmination of an event that will happen through all of these other mini events together with it that moves us from a membrane from third to fourth density into fourth density entirely. And with the way things are looking, a lot of people are going to move into fourth density. So it's quite exciting times. But the whole idea is that you want to continue to work to shadow those emotions. Those ones that aren't going to be able to make that ride are the ones that are weighing themselves down with all these heavy weights of emotions that, again, they're not willing to shed, right? It's the same old story, guys. This is the same thing, right? Whenever you guys come to me with all these things, it just points back into what I've shared before, right? Work with your positive energy. Start to bring positive reinforcement together with yourself. Why aren't you guys getting this, right? Work with yourself. Start to have confidence, because here's the thing. Many of you are still thinking that someone needs to bail you out. Nobody is going to bail you out. You have guides, you have helpers, you have your own legion, right? As I've talked about, creating your own legion, just as we talked about last week, summoning your legion. You have your healer, you have your transmuter, you have your purifier, you have your warrior, you have your sage. Something I don't want and I'm ready to let go of, here you go, legion, take care of it. Bam, done. Okay, that's all you're doing. You can start to work with this very, very strongly, okay? But you have to get on your side. You have to make yourself responsible. Stop thinking somebody else is going to do this for you. It's a trap. Work with yourself. Be your own god, goddess energy, okay? Very important. Okay, so going down the list here. Okay, so I'm just trying to find somebody who has not asked a question yet. So let me kind of go down a bit more. Okay, here's a very interesting one from Jonas. Jonas says, can you elaborate on understanding in terms of psychology and philosophy by higher evolved civilizations? Well, the funny thing is that those are actually less and less by higher civilizations because they don't follow codes. When you're looking at a state of psychology, you're looking at programs, you're looking at systematic behavior, you're looking at archetypes. And what I have observed from many different forms of higher evolved civilizations is they don't even look at that. They don't even look at your psychology. They don't really look at philosophies in that particular way. Because again, these are all points of view. Everybody has their own state of self-philosophy. Everybody has their own categorization of how the psyche works and of working together with the mind. But the mind is not a complex thing as we believe it is. It's when we're trying to figure it out that it may seem complex. But when you're looking at the mind, it is indeed a universal interface. And it's like dealing with a gigantic supercomputer. And that we are all working together with the states of energy, coherency, vibration, and frequency. And that would be what could be referred to as the technicalities, understanding the structures of the mind. Is that when we're looking at energy, vibration, coherency, and frequency, this is what's basing ourselves into the state of reality. And that many of these highly evolved civilizations that may be much more non-linear than what we would understand in our linear terms, they again don't experience anything that could represent an archetype pertaining to linear perspective of psychology. And that is what they would say about the idea of psychology and philosophy. So those are linear terms. Those are linear specifications, and they don't really apply to where we exist, because where we exist, everything that we know we are able to perceive through our intention becomes our reality. And therefore, it would not make any sense for you to try and base yourselves in that psychology model or philosophical models or historian models to getting a perception in regards to how we perceive reality. How we perceive reality right now is really beyond your comprehension. You have to look at everything happening here and now, and that everything is generated to the basis of event, rather than the idea of feeling that space and time have a factor on an absolute level with it. And even when you're looking at it on a relative perspective, you're still seeing it in regards to some type of conductivity relating to causality, and it does not work that way. We can be in one reality yesterday, we can be in another reality tomorrow, we can be in another reality 5 seconds from now, we can be in another reality 5,000 years before, and this is all happening right now. And this is the stream of our consciousness, and we are able to work together with space and time, time and space, because it works for us rather than feeling that we work for it. And so the psychology of the mind is a universal interface. It is like what we would call the Akashic Records or the Book of Life, or again, moving up into the higher halls of causality or the causal planes that may even surpass the idea of the Akasha. And we start to work with those energies. And we start to, again, perceive everything as overlays and not seeing just one single sequence here. It's like what Adronis has shared is that he sees everything through spheres of consciousness. So it's not just one plain picture that we're seeing here. From Adronis's perspectives, it's spheres. It's like looking at a honeycomb. or looking at these cells and seeing all of these pictures overlaid over each other at the same time, and that they're all malleable and living, and that you're connecting with those reality prisms, and you're seeing all of these realities and digesting all of this information simultaneously. That's very difficult for us to even perceive, right? So you would basically want to talk to other third density civilizations relating to psychology and philosophical models, because they may have similar interests in that way. But when you're talking about highly evolved civilizations that are not linear, that are quasi-linear or non-linear, no, they would basically throw our psychology in the garbage. Then, because the whole idea is that that doesn't apply to the reality that we work with. It may apply to your reality because you're seeing things in linear terms. Where you go with us, that does not apply because you have no continuity of causality that you can identify with that determines a common ground pertaining to psychological or philosophical understandings that relate to co-reality presence based upon your reality and ours. Okay? That's what can be shared relating to that. All right, so let's move down a little bit more. Okay, here's one here from Maggie. Maggie asks, can Adronis, so a request for Adronis here, can Adronis tell us of higher dimensional humans here on Earth? Okay, very good. One moment as I bring him in. We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius. We thank you for this interaction. We will tell you that the idea of higher dimensional humans is actually what many of you are, because many of you come from these higher realms of consciousness. Why do you feel that so many of you sense great discomfort when you come into such a physical, dense body and interacting with a physical, dense environment? It's because you come from worlds, you come from spheres of consciousness to where you have been much lighter, where you're feeling like vapor rather than the idea of solid ground or solid dirt or the denseness of your physical body. So when you therefore acclimatize yourself to these bodies and you work to bring about a harmony of them, now you start to recall that this indeed is an interface. It's a dense interface, but nonetheless you are receiving instructions that are compatible with the representation of how this reality is constructed, to giving yourselves impression about what needs to be done upon this planet that therefore represents your calling. So higher dimensional beings in that sense on this planet in third density don't exist. Their essence certainly does. But again, because you're operating in physical density through physical bodies in that particular way, the only thing that represents the higher dimensionalities is that which lifts itself above the stream pertaining to denseness. So it is your own consciousness, it is your own energies, it is your own being, as it were, that represents the higher dimensional flow of everything, because all of you are higher dimensional. None of you are native to this planet as just dense bodies. Dense bodies are just a conduit, and they are again an interface that you are interacting, working together with through the state of human design, because you're learning how to be stewards. You're learning how to work together with each other. You're learning how to work together with your planet. That's the nature of the human design. And that as you continue to accelerate and move yourself into higher states of being, where your body is in a transitional state of coming alongside for the ride, you will evolve yourselves into a homogalactic civilization, where you will bring yourselves and parts of your own Earth with you as you explore the cosmos. That's where you're going, because all souls that occupy human bodies are not indigenous to this world. You are derelict. You are foreign. You are cosmic travelers. And that's what the soul represents. The human design in itself is also that of a cosmic template. Why do you think you have the most sophisticated genetics out of any other race that exists? Because you are a universal design template. And so when you're working at higher dimensions, this is all within the capability of the body. But because you feel that you are small or programmed or dense in a particular way, you feel that this is all there is. The idea of being here on earth and having a single linear perspective upon yourself. No. You can reprogram yourself. You can align to that cosmic perspective. You can align to that higher degree where you feel not just the idea of higher dimensions, but again, we would say maximum capacity output of vibrational coherence. Maximum vibrational output of vibrational coherence. Doesn't always mean that something needs to be higher or lower. When you are bringing about your maximum capacity output for vibrational coherence, you are allowing your body to move and adjust itself into heightened levels of being, where the aspect of linear reality in a single picture is now starting to dissolve, and you're now starting to feel a quasi-linear experience. Your bodies are already attuned to do this right now. You can attune your bodies right now to become quasi-linear, because that's what fourth density represents. Many of you don't even realize this. But what happens is that you're actually walking across many planets at the same time. You're actually starting to live other lifetimes in other bodies at the same time, because this is the bleed-through effect. You bleed through the aspect of a singular linear reality, and because of your maximum capacity output to vibrational coherence, you elevate yourself in an increase of vibrational standpoint, and now you're noticing that there is now a version of you on Sirius. There's a version of you on Orion. There's a version of you in the Pleiades. There's a version of you in different parallel Earths that are walking around at the same time that you're walking around, and you feel them. That is the aspect of multidimensionality. When you're able to experience more than one reality at the same time, you would be considered multidimensional. That's how it works. And again, some may ask, well, Jonas, what does this feel like? It's just as Brad put it, that you're looking at overlays of your reality. There's a version of you here. There's a version of you on Sirius. There's a version of you in the Pleiades. There's a version of you on Arcturus. There's a version of you in Lyra. There's a version of you in another parallel Earth. All of this is happening at the same time, and it's overlaying the idea of the structure pertaining to a single linear version reality that you're experiencing in this physical body, in this coherency of reality stream here and now. So that therefore represents not just the idea of higher dimensionality, but the idea of coherent, vibrational, multidimensional reality as you pick up your coherent frequency and move more clearer into that expanse of being quasi-linear and aware of other realities at the same time. We thank you. Okay, thank you, Adronis, and thank you very much, Maggie, for your question. Moving on. Okay, ready for a cabal deep state to get the hell out. Well, the whole idea, guys, is that, to go over this again as well, is that there really needs to be a thankfulness for that particular regime. There needs to be a thankfulness for what they have done, because that is what's actually helped us to make us who we are. All that struggle, all of that challenge, all of that shadow is in thanks, because this has helped us to mold to who we are. Don't be so eager to condemn people. Don't be so eager to condemn organizations or groups in this particular way, to throw out judgment in that particular way. There's no sense in doing that. That's just playing fire with fire again, because eventually you're just going to turn something around that may come back and bite you. So even though there have been a lot of horrible agendas on this planet, and thank you, Elazar, for the $5 donation. Appreciate it. Thank you, Anadronis, for being in our lives. We thank you. Thank you, Elazar, for being in mine. I appreciate it. But just going back to what I'm sharing, just because, we do have these particular forms of secret societies and these groups in that way, they honestly believe that what they were doing was the right thing to do. Nobody believes they're evil. Nobody believes they're sinister or they're bad. You talk to one person on this planet and saying, "Oh, you an evil person? Are you bad?" Well, of course not. Everything I'm doing is justified. I can justify this. I can be right about that, etc., etc. Nobody believes they're bad. Right? Everybody feels that they're doing a divine mission. Everybody feels that they're doing goodness in regards to that. That's what they believe. Yes, they have murdered people. Yes, they have hurt people. Yes, they have put these entire control agendas upon ourselves. But it's through all of that that we have learned that has actually been able to completely break us out of a shell to where we have determined we don't want that type of life. And now we're moving into the light because of that. And you need to thank those people that have been your bullies, that have been your opposers, that have been the antagonists in your life. If you're just so eager to condemn them, you haven't learned anything, right? Do not feel like you need to so easily condemn and judge a person and judge an organization and judge a group because they did this, that, and the other thing. That's childish, right? You want to work in seeing that I see what they're doing. I certainly don't agree with what they're doing. I certainly would never participate in what they're doing at all. But they've helped me to see exactly what I needed to break out of. Because if I stayed with that state of obedience, I'd just be following them like lemmings off a cliff. But now I see exactly what I was able to break through. I was able to break through that shell because I kept looking at them and I said, thank you for showing me what I'm not. And that is the great learning. That's the teaching. This is where Adronis and many other beings are saying, shadows are your teachers. When you fall, when you fail, that too is a teacher. Because it encourages you to get up, to refine yourself, to bring more compassionate energy out of yourself, to break out of this shell, for that snake to shed that skin. And it's thankful to all of those shadows, all the antagonism within your reality that allows that to happen. Don't you think that's actually something that you can actually work in an appreciation for? So again, yes, we're not, again, aligning to them and saying that everything that they're doing is justified and good. No, of course not, because if we did, we'd still be following that silent obedience and being a lemon being dropped off a cliff. But we are noticing that in order for us to capture a greater state of compassion within ourselves, we have to go through these very trying times until we finally realize we are beyond it all. So that's where there is actually appreciation and thanks for that. So, right, everybody that does these particular ill wills, yes, all of that will catch up with them. Always does. Every time you have something to hide, every time you're harming innocence, every time you're hurting innocence, that's going to rebound on you. I don't care how great your organization is. I don't care how great your empire is. I don't care if you think you have every single form of base covered in the universe. It's going to come back at you. Why? Because the universe is very slightly biased towards love. 50.1% of the universe is more biased towards love than it is towards fear. So because the universe has a slight biased approach to love, everybody that relates to these governments, these organizations, these empires will be allowed to do what they need to do up until a certain point until the dominoes are able to be struck and all of these dominoes fall together. It's like this, right? So you have all of these twisted empire, legion consciousness guys, blah, 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 deep state, whatever you want to call them. And all they're doing is they spent hundreds of years setting up these little dominoes. Domino, 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 domino. This is the most impenetrable thing that we'll ever do. They don't even realize they're setting up dominoes, right? And so they set it all up and it's worldwide and it's basically touching every facet that we can imagine. But through all of that time that they've been so busy stacking dominoes, there has been an uprising as it relates to people who are breaking out of their programming, who are breaking out of obedience structure. And now it gets so large and so incredible that now the first domino goes down and it now starts to roll around, loop around, and hitting every other particular single domino. What we're witnessing right now is the near completion of all of those dominoes falling down. Every last one. So that's what the universe does. It says, no, I'm going to let them build their dominoes. I want them to see them completely cover the entire world with all of those dominoes, because once they're done, the people are going to knock them all down. And that's why there has been this particular time of transition, to allow those dominoes to get knocked down, to oppose past all of this suppression, this oppression. All of that empire is falling now because the universe has been completely patient in knowing that the timing is right now to knock all of those dominoes down, because they felt they had everything covered in their arrogance. And it is their arrogance and ignorance that is their downfall. But for us to knock down these dominoes and realize that they're all now just about to fall, we have to think, because this has been a very intricate program to break us out of a mold, to get past thousands and thousands of years of suppression, oppression, control, corruption, murder, genocide, everything. All of that is now coming ahead. And it's thanks to the patience of the universe to allow all of these opposers, the deep state, whatever you want to call them, to put all these dominoes together, and now we flick them down. And that's what we're experiencing right now. So there's a lot of thanks. Thank you so much for showing me who I'm not. I appreciate it. And now you have to work out everything that you've done. You have the opportunity at any particular moment to surrender yourselves, to make amends, to start serving innocence. But a lot of these guys won't. They will stay the course until they're dead. That's how they work, right? Then that's the choice they make. Then they're going to probably spend a lot of lifetimes trying to work off a lot of this karmic debt. That's the choice that they've made. And again, that's the idea of allowing these dominoes to take place, and the universe having the patience for that to take place, for that to happen until the time is right to strike it down. Okay, we're going to get further down the list here. We're running out of time. It's about 2 or 3 more questions, and we're going to wrap up. Okay. Here's an interesting question about from Wineglass. What was the Omawama, whatever it's called? You know, like that cigar-shaped, or like a blunt joint floating in outer space. I'm not too sure how to pronounce it. I know there's a name for it, Owamahama or whatever it's called. People can probably correct me, and it's fine. Basically, it was an ancient art craft. I've asked Adronis about this as well, too. So it was an ancient art craft by a lot of ancient extraterrestrial races, and it basically represents a confederation. And a lot of these particular beings are in stasis. They were escaping from something. It was almost like escaping from a cataclysm or escaping from a war, and they were able to attune their trajectory to eventually enter our star system. But apparently that entire arc craft has been floating out in space for millions and millions of years. So something that was adrift, something that came out of a great catastrophe that was taking place, and it brought itself into our star system. And so there's different types of ancient civilizations. It's kind of like going back to the series Star Trek Enterprise, where there were the idea of these races that you had like avians, you had aquatics, you had mammalians, you had reptilians, you had insectoids. Well, actually, that's very, very true, right? There's beings known as the ancient sphere builders as well, too. That was in Star Trek Enterprise as well, too. And that's what you can kind of look at relating to this really ancient arc. So what they did in the ancient times, millions and millions of years ago, is they would hollow out asteroids. They would go to celestial debris, and they would hollow it out, and then they'd replace it with all forms of technology. And they'd use that particular form of shell as a means of transport from one star system to another, or again, going through the ancient transit systems, the ancient stargates that are all connected throughout the galaxy as well, too. But this is all part of an ancient arc of an ancient federation relating to these beings that are mammalian, that are insectoid, that are aquatic, that are reptilian, etc. It's like all of these ancient races. So it's amazing like what Star Trek is bringing out, because it's very, very true. And that's where these beings come from as part of that ancient arc. It wouldn't surprise me if that was in direct connection to Lyra, for example, or again, maybe another colony that was part of that regime altogether. But it's certainly a very ancient arc. It's referred to as an arc. It's not really a probe in that way. It was more so in that sense of an ancient arc, an ancient artifact, you could say, that was basically meant to preserve life, or almost kind of like a type of preserver craft, but like an arc to preserve the life of perhaps something that once went extinct or nearing extinction. So interesting times. But again, I don't remember the name. If it was some Omawama, whatever it's called. Interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll down here. We got a couple of good questions, but we're really close to being out of time here. So I'm just going to see if I can find one that really kind of clicks right now. Just getting some good conversations going here on the chat, guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, well, here's one I think we'll end with, and it's from Surreal77. Question: is the global warming in all the solar system, and mainly because of the sun, regardless of human activities? Yes, that's basically what's happening, is that there's a solar system warming situation, right? When the planet itself is actually heating up from the inside, because that's what's taking place. This is all part of it gathering a lot of energy. It's kind of like the planet being in a state of energetic hibernation, and it starts to build up all of this energy. And as it does, it starts to affect a lot of our timelines, right? And so as our timelines, as our sense of causality takes place, we again can blame it on, human activity in that sense. And don't get me wrong, there certainly is some human activity that in some way is partially responsible. But what's happening is the planet is heating up from the inside, and it's getting ready for a dimensional transit. So when we actually look at planets that are actually heating up deeply from the inside, and it looks like there are planetary shifts, planetary changes, quote unquote, global warming that's taking place, it's not again about just what's happening on the surface or what's happening with the sun. It's actually what's happening inside the planet. Because again, she's going into a state of energetic hibernation so that she can eventually unfold herself. And now we have third density, fourth density Earth that's taking place. So a lot of the heating up is coming from the inside of the planet as it makes itself ready to go through this dimensional transition. And the same thing goes for all the other corresponding planets as well, right? Our entire solar system, a large part of the galaxy is starting to move up into this fourth density shift that's taking place. So if we're able to actually take our telescopes and actually look at different quote-unquote exoplanets, we may actually start to see some that may be somewhat similar to what we're going through as well too. They may be in earlier stages or they may be in later stages, etc. Because again, it's all part of the stream of where they exist. But basically all the planets are heating up inside as a means of a pre-dimensional transit shift that's taking place. And yes, the sun is a big responsible aspect of it. Really what has been the cornerstone for allowing the sun to do what it's doing is from it going from a yellow star to a white star. Okay, so from a compliant yellow star moving over to a white star, which means that it has moved in its own advancement into fourth density. The star goes first, and then with all the rays, the gamma rays, the CMEs, etc., that go through the entire star system collective, then those planets start to receive this energy as well too. And over time, they go with the star as well too. So the star, our sun, is already a fourth density star. So now we're just catching up with a lot of those rays that are coming upon the planet right now that are transitioning ourselves. And they're going through this heating process internally to eventually unfold and become, again, a third to fourth density compliant planet that is aligning together with our fourth density compliant star. So that, in a nutshell, is what's really going on. And of course, human activity as well, we can look at that from how things have been happening the past several years regarding our behavior, our shifts, what's happening, right? We're still going to have a lot of rebellious times, especially happening this month of March, right? We're moving into some big astrological shifts, right? With Uranus entering Taurus, right? And that can also encourage a great deal of protests, riots, resistance, resilience, to all of these particular systems. So we're going to see a lot more as we move further into 2019, a lot more protests, a lot more conflicts, a lot more riots of all of this breaking down of this practical system. And that's what needs to happen. And that's going to be there to about the mid-2020s, I believe 2025 or 2026. So that is a big shift that's happening with Uranus entering Taurus. So yeah, we got some other fun times ahead And it's like a roller coaster ride. It's like I said, you'll either be on this roller coaster going, woohoo, this is fun, this is a blast, I'm having a ride here, it's enjoyable. Or like, get me off, 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 get me off. Right? So, I mean, it's up to you how you want to ride this roller coaster. And I've been saying that since 2009. Things are going to get really, really intense, and they certainly have been. Right now, I'm just one of those guys who's on the roller coaster going, woo, right? Bring it. Let's do this. It's fun. I'm having a blast. All right. So thank you, guys. We are out of time for this week for New Earth Teachings Live. Thank you, everybody who've been a part of the chat, for your questions as well, too. And next week, I will be in Japan. I'll be in Tokyo, Japan. I might have a New Earth Teachings Live next Friday. I'm not too sure on that. Just stay updated on my Facebook, on my YouTube, and I will let you guys know. But I will see if I certainly can do a New Earth Teachings Live next Friday, if possible. If not, maybe on a Thursday. We'll see. Time zone difference, certainly, when I go to Japan. So we'll see how things work out. Thank you so much, everybody. Much love and blessings wherever you are in the world. And I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care. Namaste.